All right, Garage Talk episode. I don't know. I want to say 3 or 4, but we haven't posted anything at this point. So, all right, what do we got today, man?
Kia versus BMW. I know, not the most likely crossover in the world.
Where are you drawing that comparison?
Well, Kia has dropped the new K5. It's kind of their smaller midsize sedan. And their bold statement on the website is the K5 is better and outclasses the 330i.
Ooh, outclasses.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if they use that exact word. Yes. They claim it's outperforming it, though. It's the comparable.
Oh, yeah. Well, according to Kia. I don't think BMW sees it the same way, but according to Kia, yes.
Okay, so 330i. So this thing has it's four-wheel drive?
That's where it gets complex. There's 5 different levels of this car. 2 or 3 of the 5 have an all-wheel drive option. The other 2 are front-wheel drive. But the insanity is the top-of-the-line performance package, the GT line, has 290 horsepower and does not come with the all-wheel drive option. It's just insanity.
Wait. So this does have four-wheel drive. But
Optional.
You're telling me that the highest package with the highest power is the one that doesn't have four-wheel drive? Is it at least rear wheel?
No, it's front.
Front-wheel drive.
Yeah. So they put 290 horsepower.
Kia. Why?
311 foot-pounds of torque out of a Turbo 4. And it's front-wheel drive only. No all-wheel drive option.
Okay, but if you get... and by the way, we should mention too that the fully loaded 311 horsepower, 290,
290, 311 foot-pounds of torque.
Okay, that fully loaded, fully spec'd out is $30,000. I mean, that certainly is going to beat the 2021 330i, which I'm assuming is probably fully spec'd out in the 50s.
I'm going to say 40 or 50, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So interesting price performance. I'm happy to see that Kia is like. I mean, I've always felt like the whole WRX setup with just the Turbo 4-wheel drive should be more common amongst sedans, especially since sedans are struggling in this like SUV crossover like hype area right now. But why? I just can't get over why they would only offer front wheel drive on the fully spec'd out version.
Now, maybe it's initially front-wheel drive, option coming soon. It doesn't make any sense. I understand that the engine's different, transmission is probably different. But if you have the same chassis with the same all-wheel drive design, it has to make sense that there would be an option available, at least down the road. Now, Kia's can surprise me. I will say, they could surprise me, but I think we'd see an all-wheel drive option in the future, maybe 6 months behind. So
I hope so, man. Because at the $23,000 mark, you get just a 1.6 liter. Is it? Oh, it's still turbo. So
they're all turbo.
All the packages are turbo.
Yep.
So for $23,000, you get 180 horsepower, and that has 4-wheel drive available.
No, the very base LX does not have 4-wheel drive. It's all-wheel drive technically. All-wheel drive is only available on the LXS as well as the GT line, not to be confused with the top-of-line GT model.
Okay.
Now, that's why I'm saying I bet you with the naming duplication there could be a potential in the future of dropping the midline GT line, picking up the GT as an all-wheel drive option. Like I said, I understand you're jumping from 1.6 up to a 2.5 liter, so it's a little bit different engine architecture, but it seems like it would be a logical option for that vehicle. I mean, especially if you're trying to compete with BMW with their X-Drive and all that stuff.
Yeah, I got to give it to you, man. So the specs and the price are impressive, but if you're someone that's looking at a BMW 330i and you're like, I want to buy a BMW, do you really want to have the Kia? Is Kia's brand such that that is going to be a comparable for, like, put yourself in the shoes of the shopper. Like, if you're looking for a BMW, you're probably looking for a little bit of floss, a little bit of brand equity.
I I would go with the Civic, the top of the line one, the S line or whatever they're calling it. It's not the S. I think it's the R line.
Oh, Type
now.
R now.
Type R.
The Type R. Yes.
Now that's four doors, hatchback, 305 horsepower or so. Strong torque. And you can get a manual. Yeah, it's also front wheel drive, but so is the Kia. So I mean, then you're talking, okay, what is this image looking for me? And when you're in the $30,000 car market, sometimes it's fun to have a little bit of a more edgy car. Something a little more exciting.
Yeah.
Now,
and you get the Honda. I mean, you get a reliable Honda that's gonna have great resale, low maintenance costs, low insurance. It's too bad that the new Type R's look like a Hot Wheels car, though.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, yeah. I mean, personally, if it was just a fun car for me, it'd be fun to have. There are, perceptions that people have when they see you driving something like that. But, deep down, all guys want that car. They just can't stand the ridicule of driving it.
It's the Type R reminds me of the of Fast and Furious 1, or is it Too Fast, Too Furious? No, that was the style, though, with the Mitsubishi Eclipse and the Honda. It was crazy big plastic wings, body kits, big wings.
What are the little fins and everything?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, man, maybe 90s car styles is coming back just like high-waisted jeans, which I'm okay with.
Well, what I have to ask, though, is does the Accord compete with this car? Do you think that the Accord competes in this segment? And if so, would you pick the Accord over the front-wheel drive GT here? Because I think the Accord still has the V6 option, which is, 320
something.
So,
yeah. It's probably fair to ask, well, you can look at it from different ways. From like a total cost of ownership perspective, I'm curious where Kia's at in terms of what that's going to cost long-term. In terms of something that would hold its value, my worry with the Kia over the Accord is that you're probably going to get similar performance, but I don't know that if you bought this brand new off the lot, in a few years you're going to lose $5,000 in value off of the Accord and the Kia. That's my concern about this Kia, is that they're like brand reliability, their brand equity, their brand reputation isn't high enough such that you're going to get resale value on this thing. I got a feeling that this GT whatever top of the line model with Kia is going to be half the price in a few years.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because that's probably why they picked the BMW to compete against. I mean, if you want to talk maintenance cost depreciation, throw yourself up against a German car. No matter what, you're going to look good. Okay. I mean,
maybe that's where this does win out, is if you're considering like a used 330i for the same price, you can get yourself a Kia rally car.
I see people that buy BMWs as someone that wants to have that persona of having a luxury vehicle. Yeah, it might not have the greatest specs in the class. Yeah, it might have the best mileage. It might not have, the most capacity or, utility. But what do you drive? I drive a BMW. All right, that guy's doing well.
Yeah, so same reason why people buy Audi and BMW, so you can feel entitled in the fast lane.
And then, when you drive a Kia, oh yeah, I know Kias are getting pretty good. I like the look of that Forte, and everything since then has been pretty good looking.
Kias come a long way, man. Yes. Kias do a lot of good stuff, man.
Yeah, there's a Top Gear thing along that line. They had the cool wall back in the day, right?
Yeah.
And that was one of the things is, all the kind of special edition cars out of these manufacturers that aren't known to be specifically luxurious performance. Like, if you have to explain yourself at a party, yes, I drive Kia, but it's a 209 horsepower GT line K5. And if you saw the YouTube video, it can do a 360 off a jump because it's super awesome. It's just too many levels.
I did see that.
Yes.
That was pretty cool.
It was a 180,
we should link to that.
Yeah.
Well, overall, okay, I guess it's not something I'm going to buy right now, especially not over the Accord. But they're going in the right direction.
What I'll also say is I think Kia and Hyundai as well, they come standard with a lot more options than other vehicles do. A lot of times you see Kias with the standard, wireless charging, of course, Bluetooth audio, navigation, all that kind of stuff.
Safety braking, parking assist.
Yeah. You see these standard options, you say, wow, yeah, the Kia is cheaper and it has more standard options. So when you're really apples to apples, all of a sudden that Accord's looking pretty luxurious, pretty spendy.
Yep. The value's there. The value's there.
The Accord will hold its value better, just almost guaranteed. But just I don't know. I like the K5. I like what Kia is doing. I like both main Korean manufacturers. I think they both got a lot of good things going on. They've progressed a long ways in the past decade.
Do you think this competes?
Front wheel drive is not good enough.
Do you think this? Let's say Kia does give 4-wheel drive on their top powertrain package, which is a no-brainer. Yeah. You say that does happen. How do you think this competes with like a WRX? I'm trying to think of all the other 4-banger 4-wheel drive turbos.
Does the Stinger come in all-wheel drive? I think there might be an option for a Stinger all-wheel drive.
Stinger? Is that a Kia?
Yeah. That's the big hype performance car that they have.
That's not 4-door though, right?
I
believe not 4-wheel drive either. We're talking a fun family sedan, man. The Stinger is. I don't think you can put a car seat in that thing, man.
All right, 4 doors. You can put a car seat in there.
I'm sorry. Well, that's strange that it seems like the K5 is pretty competitive with the Stinger. Where's the market gap?
Well,
so
255 horsepower.
Stinger's got 255 horse. So
of course that's the top of the line one, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Honestly, the Stinger was sold as more of a performance oriented chassis, where I think that the K5 fits more into a more Civic 4-door, maybe stretch into a Accord 4-door kind of comfort ride.
So something like you can convince your wife you want, but she doesn't know you got the turbo model, or
exactly something that you can drive long distances and you're like, man, the suspension isn't super rough. Like, man, my back is getting old. Okay. Something like that. Whereas this,
so it's fair to assume though, it's interesting because the Stinger does not have a 4-wheel drive option, right? It's front wheel drive. So I wonder how much of this drivetrain actually from the Stinger is just put into that.
Well, here you go.
K5.
You can get an optional 3.3 twin turbo V6 from the Stinger, so 365 horsepower.
Ooh.
And let's be honest.
And that can't be just the front wheels, right? That
has to be, and it's the same 8-speed, I bet you, as the K5. You have 8-speed automatic. I bet you it's an all-wheel drive because throwing 365 foot-pounds or 376 foot-pounds at the front wheels is just a stupid proposition.
Yeah, unless you have like torque vectoring, or
even still, man, there's only so much torque vectoring.
What's the steering? Ford came out with this in there.
Well, they had torque vectoring.
Is that what it is? Where it kind of counters the
steer,
steer from the okay.
Yeah, no, that's the torque vectoring. Now, what I'll say is this is no uglier than a Panamera, and it has just much luxury. I understand why they have to have the high roofline on the back. It probably has great headroom in that back seat.
Yeah, it looks good.
It looks fine. Now, I got a neighbor with one. He's right around the corner. I've never liked the Stinger, and the reason why is because Kia went all in on their marketing, on their trying to sell the Stinger, all right? And so all these reviews and stuff just felt like ads to me. It was so well reviewed. It was clearly a pretty good job by Kia. But let's be honest. If you're in the market for 360 horsepower, you're looking probably at the Infinities. I think it's the Q50, Q60 models. Mm-hmm. Q60, I believe, is their 4-door. You're looking at Panamera. Once again, we talked about resale and depreciation and cost of ownership on German cars. This gives us another option out there, Now, where it really has to perform, though, is in competition with kind of, if you buy the Stinger and you have that 4-wheel option or that 4-seater option, does that outweigh the value of just going with a 2-seater? Is there enough utility there that you say, yes, I want a performance car, but I can't quite commit to the 2-seater? because there's lots of great options for two-seaters right now as well. You know, you have, of course, the Supra is coming out or is out. You know, they have a 2-liter option now that's coming in.
The Nissan 400Z.
Yep, the 400Z, and of course the 370 is also in that space. I mean, let's not discount the 370.
Is they're going to keep the 370?
They're not going to keep it going, but there's a great used market for those things. I mean, they've had the same chassis forever, same body style, so you have lots of options there. So I don't know. I get where the performance four-door comes from. You know, I had that Corvette. It was a 2-seater. I loved the performance of a two-seater. I loved the performance of the car. Sometimes it's nice to have 4 seats, you know. So, hey, we're going to go drive down to the bar or whatever. Okay, well, I can either, you know, drive by myself with whomever, or we can all drive together and talk during the trip down. You know, there's pros and cons to everything.
Yeah, it's hard to say they're the same market. I mean, if you're looking for the 4-door, you either got a dog or a kid or social life. And, you know, you want your friends to enjoy your Kia Stinger. So you get the 4-door so they can enjoy all that the Kia has to offer.